Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Liz Moore's new novel, The God of the Woods. This was just published this July. This book was my book group's pick for August. Now that we've met to discuss the novel, I feel at liberty to review it here on the channel. I would say that this novel is being billed as a literary thriller. Liz Moore is an excellent writer. She describes setting powerfully, she develops her characters in careful detail, and she builds suspense in a most compelling way. The novel takes place primarily in the Adirondack Mountains in northern New York State. The camp is owned by the very wealthy Van Laar family. This is Camp Emerson, and the Van Laar family lives in a home overlooking the camp. Their home is called Self-Reliance. The basic premise of the story is that one August morning in 1975, a camp counselor awakens to discover that one of her teenaged campers has gone missing. The missing teenager is Barbara Van Laar, the daughter of the owners of the camp. Implausible as it may sound at first, Barbara is not the first of the Van Laar children to go missing. 14 years earlier, back in 1961, the Van Laar's first child, their son, affectionately known as Bear, also went missing from this same camp. His disappearance is treated as a murder, even though no body is found. And a local man who worked at the camp is treated as the prime suspect. In addition to being a suspense thriller, the novel also explores themes of social class conflict. The Van Laars and their friends are extraordinarily wealthy and powerful people. Most of the people who work in their home and who work at this camp are locals, and they are not extraordinarily wealthy people. The camp director, TJ, is a woman who has grown up around this camp because her father, Vic, before her, was the camp director. TJ was a childhood friend of the missing Bear. Now, in 1975, the present tense of the novel, TJ is working as the director of the camp, a job that she sort of inherited from her father, who is now quite ill with advanced Alzheimer's disease. Louise, a camp counselor, has also grown up in the area, and she too is a member of the working class, and she comes from a very disturbed family background. She is also supposedly engaged to John Paul McClellan, who is the son of the Van Laar's attorney. He is a particularly unlikable, even despicable character, for reasons that I will not go into here. As the story develops, we learn that almost everyone in this novel has something to hide. Everyone is harboring deep secrets. Alice and Peter Van Laar, the owners of the camp and the parents of both of these now missing children, Bear and Barbara, have a deeply troubled marriage. And it was already in bad shape even before Bear disappeared. I think my favorite character in the novel might have been Judy, or Judita Luptak. She is a young investigator, recently promoted from state trooper to investigator. She's part of the team called in to investigate Barbara's disappearance. In some ways, she reminded me of the protagonist in Liz Moore's last novel, Long Bright River. In this novel, Mickey is the protagonist, and she is a young Philadelphia police officer. These two female officers they're very, very similar. This seems to be a character type that Moore describes masterfully. The young female officer from humble beginnings who is trying to make a name for herself, trying to get herself taken seriously in a profession that tends to belittle and underestimate her best efforts. In both of these novels, these young women officers are among the most engaging of all of the characters in a large cast of characters. This novel, The God of the Woods, includes short chapters told from many different characters' perspectives in different time frames, primarily 1961 and 1975. But it is not confusing or hard to follow. The storylines are actually masterfully woven together over time. I thought the story was a little bit slow to get started, but once we were into the investigation of Barbara's disappearance, the pace picks up, and I was captivated for the rest of the novel. Moore throws in a whole bunch of red herrings, and she plants clues all over the place, which keep the narrative moving. The consensus of my book group was that this was a terrific novel that we all really enjoyed. We also universally had a bit of a problem with the ending, which I'm not going to discuss. We found it not quite as satisfying as the rest of the novel, but I'm not going to say any more about that. The book deals with really important themes that we all found really, really engaging, while giving us a compelling thriller. Moore explores the effects of addiction and alcoholism in families, and that was really compelling. This was also an important theme in the earlier Long Bright River. She also looks at misogyny in families and in some professions. We see several abusive relationships here. Often men, unfortunately, abusing the women in their lives. Moore looks in detail at parent-child relationships, and she looks at these relationships from many different perspectives, in many different families. Very powerfully, she explores the abuses that one extremely wealthy family is able to perpetuate on everyone around them. Mostly because they have always felt that they were above the law. The novel also deals with the theme of redemption, and there are some characters who do experience redemption, who do get second chances. While I didn't love everything about this book, I thought it was a very strong literary thriller with terrific characters, an intriguing setting, worthy themes, and a compelling mystery. I would recommend this novel to anyone who loves mysteries, thrillers, or police procedurals. And also to anyone who is drawn to psychological family dramas. And it's set in the wilderness of the Adirondack Mountains. You cannot beat the setting. This novel also qualifies as a big book of the summer for the Big Book Summer Reading Challenge hosted by my friend Sue Jackson, because it has more than 400 pages in it. So that's my review of The God of the Woods. Terrific literary thriller. As always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.